And I do have to thank Rich overhauled my presentations to make them look extremely pretty. Normally mine just have a lot of words and technical data and very little pictures, and he's taken it and making it look very pretty. So yes, after all the regulatory requirements, some communities might feel a little overwhelmed in all the responsibilities that you have when it comes to operating your drinking water system. And I want to make sure that you're aware that there are a lot of resources available to communities out there. One of them being the Operator Education, Training, and Certification Program. From here on in, I'll call it the OETC programs, just so I don't have to say all those words. It is a very unique approach to training. We are kind of one-of-a-kind training in the country in the way that we're set up. We already talked previously today about the risks with water systems. During the Walkerton outbreak, after that outbreak, there was a very large report with lots of recommendations, and one of the sections related to the training of operators. And it was noticed or written in that report that having properly trained and certified operators is vital to a drinking water system. And so the Department of Municipal Affairs and Environment recognized this recommendation, and we also identified that we really did had a need for enhanced operator training here in the province. So like I said, the OETC program is very unique. It was the first of its kind in North America. It is designed to meet the needs of small rural communities. So we realize that there are a lot of challenges in getting operators trained, especially in our small and rural communities. And so the OETC program is really kind of revolving around those communities. So we were launched in about 2001, 2002, that fiscal year. The first phase of the OETC program was more classroom-based training, and then it evolved into hands-on training through the use of 3 mobile training units. I know some of you in the room are definitely familiar with our mobile training units. We do have one of them here today, so at lunchtime, if you haven't been to a mobile training unit, you can take the opportunity, we've got it out in the parking lot, to go out and have a look at our training unit and see what is included in the back of it. We'll have a slide here coming up on our mobile training units. But before I get into the details of our training program, the mandate that our training program was created around was to, first off, provide operators with job competency. We want to make sure they know how to do their job, that we give them the tools and resources they need to perform their jobs as a water system operator. Of course, part of that is to make sure that our drinking water is safe. We want to also protect the environment and also make sure that our infrastructure is sustainable, that it's going to be operated for a long time. So part of that is the maintenance that is done by the operators to ensure that. I'm just going to go back to that slide because this is Jerry, who's also in the room here today. This is one of our working models that we can see in this picture. And I will mention this working model a little bit later in the presentation. So this is kind of a mini distribution system here. A lot of our water system infrastructure is underground. You never see it. So a lot of people in your community don't even understand what is included in your water system infrastructure. So we can see there's piping included here. There's different valves. There's disinfection systems. There's flow meters. There's backflow prevention devices. So operators can be trained on our working model. They can adjust different infrastructure assets that are included in the model there, see how that affects your water system. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit when we talk more on the hands-on training. So just again, before I get into any more details on our actual training courses, the goals and objectives of our program really show how we were created, what we're meant to do. We want to be out training communities regardless of their size and their fiscal capability. So whether it's a community of 50 people and they have very limited funds, we give them just as much attention as we would to any other community with more resources. So we want to get out to every community regardless of their size or fiscal capabilities. They don't pay for our training programs, whether it be our classroom training sessions, our hands-on training sessions. It's free, all offered free of charge to communities. Again, we offer them free, like I said, free of charge on a regular basis throughout the province. So our classroom sessions aren't just held in St. John's. We will travel the province to make sure that our training gets out to different areas. Our on-site training, we make sure it's as accessible as possible through the use of 3 mobile training units. We also offer certification exams as required, so operators can challenge certification exams in the water industry. We make it very easy for operators to access these exams. And we want to make sure that communities have the resources so that they can operate and maintain their water systems as per all the regulatory requirements that I went through. And we also want to reassure operators about their trade and its importance. Sometimes water systems may not get as much of attention from residents when things are going good. It's when things are going bad that's when you're getting all the attention. And so operators can feel pretty picked on sometimes, especially in small communities. Everyone knows who the water operator is. If something goes wrong, they're calling you at home. They're tracking you down as you're driving through the community. So part of our program is also to reassure operators in the importance of their role in their communities and hopefully get that message out to the communities and its residents. So just a brief introduction of the OETC members. So a lot of you may be familiar with some of our members. I'm Denise Bracklin. I'm the program lead. I get involved in offering some of the classroom training sessions in water treatment, potable water dispensing units, source water protection. I'm based out of St. John's, but I'll offer those courses throughout the province as needed. Jerry Leahy, who's here today to help out, he's an operator trainer in our Western region. So he would actually provide on-site training in the Western region and Labrador. And Jerry also offers a classroom session in wastewater treatment. Then we have Jim Pollitt. He's an operator trainer in our Central region based out of Grand Falls. So he would offer the on-site training to communities in the Central region, as well as the classroom training in wastewater collection. Then we have Darren Patey, who's the operator trainer for the Eastern region. So a lot of you here in the room might be familiar with Darren. So he would do the on-site training in Eastern, and he also offers the classroom courses for water distribution. And then Chris Blanchard and Jenny DeCoste. Jenny's here today. They do assist in offering our proper handling of chlorine and chlorine containers. That's just a half-day course, so nice and easy for everyone to attend. So generally they each do a course. So Jenny will do a course either in the Eastern or Central region during every season or when we offer, so spring and fall. So there's 2 courses usually offered a year in the Eastern and Central region. And then the same, Chris would be doing the Western region and Labrador. So operator education, that's our classroom style sessions. This is where we give you the theory behind operating your water and wastewater systems. We do try to deliver these courses throughout the province so that we minimize the travel that communities have to do to get to our courses. So we're trying to minimize the travel. It's very difficult sometimes for communities if they only have one operator, and that operator, their only role may not just be the water system. They're probably also involved in a lot of other roles within the community. So sometimes it's hard to let them go a long distance away from the community. They may be needed back quite quickly. So we try to make sure our classroom sessions are offered throughout the province to minimize that travel. And again, it's offered free of charge for communities to attend our classroom training sessions. And for communities, for municipalities, attendance at these training sessions, you also have access to the Municipal Training Fund to reimburse some of your travel costs if there is still room in your training fund to attend these courses. These are all the courses that we offer that are classroom courses. The first 3 are our water distribution courses. As I said, they're offered by Darren. Then we have the proper handling of chlorine and chlorine containers, the source water protection. We also do a session on how to use the Water Resources Portal. So you can use the portal to access drinking water quality reports as well as a mapping application. So this is offered to communities on a as-request basis. So if a community is interested in learning more about how to access information through the portal, you just call in to me to set up a training session. It usually takes about 2 hours to go through a session with a community. Typically I'll get the requests maybe from a full council with their operators in attendance as well, and we'll go through how to access your water quality reports, what all the parameters mean, and then also go through some of the mapping application tools that are there. And then we also offer some water treatment related courses for full-scale water treatment plants as well as potable water dispensing units. Not really what we're here for today, but we also offer some classroom sessions in wastewater collection and wastewater treatment as well. Another very important education tool is our annual Clean and Safe Drinking Water Workshop. So that's always held the last week of March in Gander. It is a combination of technical presentations and hands-on presentations, so it's a 2.5-day event. Every year we get about 300 people in attendance, so that's a combination of operators, town clerks, town managers, town council members, students, government reps, equipment suppliers, engineers that will attend this workshop. Every year we also offer an Operator of the Year award, and we actually have one of our former Operators of the Year in the room. And happy to say at 3 of the 4 sessions we've offered in the last few weeks, we actually have had in total 3 Operator of the Years attend our sessions. So it does show their dedication to their communities and their residents in operating their water system. So it's a great way to recognize your operator. So if you really think you've got a great operator, and this also goes to the Service&L or municipal affairs staff, if you've encountered a really good operator in your community, you can also nominate if you feel like that, to nominate a really good operator. We've gotten them from municipal affairs staff before, nominations for a certain operator. So if there's anyone you see that's doing a really great job, make sure you nominate them. The nominations will be open, and we'll have it up on our website probably starting in January, and we'll take applications or nominations right up until pretty much mid-March for that award. So the next workshop is scheduled for March 26th to 28th in Gander. So registration packages will be out probably by the new year for that workshop. So anyone who's interested in attending that, make sure you register. It is a great event and a great networking event. There's no registration fee to attend that workshop. Communities can also avail of a travel reimbursement to help them with their travel costs. Last year the reimbursement was $400 per community for communities on the island, $700 per community for communities from Labrador. So we're trying to minimize the travel costs related to getting to this event. So like I said, a great informational event, a great networking event for operators to come together and learn from each other. So that was more of the education part of our program, and again, another big part is the on-site training. And this is where we provide hands-on training in a community. So the education, the classroom, we do try to get across the province, but we're not going into every community to offer the classroom courses. But our on-site training, we're actually traveling to your community to offer hands-on training. So these are our mobile training units right here. We have 3, one based in St. John's, one in Grand Falls, and one in Corner Brook. They're like portable classrooms. So in the back of our mobile training units, there's a lot of equipment that you would regularly see in a water system. So operators can train on our equipment. So we have a cutaway hydrant in the back of our training unit. We have lots of chlorine chemical feed pumps, leak detection gear, line tracing, line tapping gear, probably missing a bunch of stuff, some gas chlorine equipment. You'll see it at lunchtime if you want to go take a little tour of our mobile training unit. So these are all our different training sessions that we offer. Most of them are drinking water related. We do offer a wastewater on-site training sessions in rescue systems and gas monitor use, but the rest of them are drinking water related. Our main focus tends to be the first 3, the disinfection, liquid chlorination, and gas chlorination. It's by far what we get requested the most to offer, but we also have ones in hydrant maintenance, valve maintenance, pipe tapping, leak detection, pH adjustment, flushing, so lots of courses. There is a brochure on the back table that lists all our training sessions and also has the contact information for our 3 operator trainers. If you want one of these training sessions, All you have to do is to notify your operator trainer for your region and set it up on a one-on-one basis. So they'll try to get out as soon as they can. So here again is our working model, and Jerry again. So the working model is part of our training program. It's meant to enhance and be a component of our on-site training system. So all those different training sessions that we offer, we can use the working model as part of those training sessions to demonstrate how things work in the working model. I'd like to point out, too, the working models, they were designed and constructed by our operator trainer, so it's not something that we purchased. They actually designed them themselves and did the construction. So right now, 2 of our 3 mobile training units have a working model, and the one in Central is just about completed to be installed in the Central mobile training unit. I'll just briefly touch on operator certification. So this is related to the certification exams that are available to water system operators. Certification is mandatory for any community that is operating a water system and you're servicing greater than 1,000 people. Also mandatory for any communities that are operating water treatment plants. For those communities that service less than 1,000 people, certification is strongly encouraged. And we have a very high number of communities that are very small that get involved in our certification program. So it's certainly not something to be intimidated by. The courses that we offer help prepare operators to write their certification exams. And we have a very good pass rate for our certification exams, and a lot of small communities that get involved. So it's great to see. We also have a category that's available for really small communities. So if you have less than 500 people, you can challenge the very small water system exam. So the difference is that the normal exams are 100 questions in length. The very small water system exam is 50 questions. So another way to help the smaller communities. But we certainly do have some challenges we still face. And this was mentioned earlier this morning when we were talking about some of the challenges, some of the negatives that are happening in our water system, and that's operator turnover and retirement. We've got a high demand for education sessions and training sessions because of that. There's a lot of turnover. Some communities, they have very high turnover of operators, or we just have that operators are reaching the retirement age. So there's a lot of demand for our training sessions. Small towns face some very unique challenges. Maybe they have just one operator in a community. That places a lot of extra challenges. How do you send an operator out for training if they're the only operator in your community? So that's why we do provide the on-site training to try and minimize that challenge. Local service districts, often they're volunteer operators that are involved in the operation of their water system. So another level of challenges there. Inadequate equipment and resources. So maybe you don't have all the equipment you need to undertake a lot of your operation and maintenance. Sometimes it's a lack of support from communities. So from the town council or the chair, the committee level, they may not have a lot of support from them for the operators. We see that in some communities, not too many, but some communities where they don't believe in training for their operators. And so we are trying to get past and provide more education for councils on the importance of sending their operators for training. And the province certainly offers a lot of geographical challenges, and we will try to find ways to work around those. So access to seminars and training sessions. As much as we try to get our training sessions across the province, there is still a lot of challenges from our geography. So sometimes that means putting Jim on the ferry to Galtus to do his training. And I know for you guys in Nain, you face a lot of challenges in getting training. So actually Jerry and I are coming up with a plan for some training for the coastal communities in Labrador that we're going to try and get out this year. So we'll be in touch about that. But you know, we have a lot of remote locations in the community, and I'm sure a lot of the EHOs face that challenge as well in getting to some of these communities. So we would try to find some unique way to work around those. I gave this presentation a few years back, or a similar one to this a few years back at a national conference. And so I had gone through how we offer all these classroom courses, all these on-site training sessions free of charge, and we still can't get some communities to participate. You know, we've got Nain that have flown down to do this session today, but how many communities are here in the room? We've got Nain, we've got Heart's Delight, we've got Beta Verde, we've got St. Mary's. Am I missing anybody? And St. John's, right? I forgot about you, Andrew. You're right there in front of me. So we have a limited number of communities here. Nain have flown down, but yet we can't get some of the neighboring ones to get here. There's still a lack of interest in our program. We still got to get that message out there that training is vital to your operators. So we got to somehow get past that challenge of making sure communities are interested in participating. There's nothing to be intimidated by our program. Our trainers, our teachers in the classroom sessions, we will try to help any way possible. If operators are intimidated by writing exams, we'll try to set up an alternative way for them to write their exam. Maybe that means they write in a room on their own, or they write at the town hall. We'll try and work around those challenges to make it less intimidating for the communities and the operators. It can be hard. A lot of our operators are older. Some of the volunteers we have are in their 70s. That can be pretty intimidating to come in and write a certification exam, but we will try to work around that. Sometimes it's the direct communication with the operators. We need to get that message right to the operator. Sometimes town halls aren't open very often. It's hard to get our training schedules right out to the operators. We do maintain a contact list for operators. We also have a contact list for town. So if an operator wants to get in on our contact list, just leave us an email or even a phone number, and we'll make sure our schedule gets out to you every time there's a new one posted. And even though we do have a lot of challenges, there's also a lot of demand for this program. So if you call up and want a training session, it can take a few weeks for us to get out, or even a couple of months. We do prioritize our disinfection or chlorine-related training sessions. So if somebody is in dire need of help with their chlorine systems, we will make sure that they get priority and we get out to them as quick as possible. And we certainly do have future plans, so there will be some new education sessions coming out. We are hoping to have one dedicated to just solely to waterborne pathogens to be released in the spring. We're also developing a new training session on storage tanks, and we constantly try to encourage our operators to participate and write their certification exams. So that's kind of some of the things we're trying to do in the future. And that's it for my presentations. Any questions on the training program? Yeah?
Are you looking at doing the online training?
It's nothing that we have right now in the immediate future. Now, this session actually will be up on our website for online access, but it certainly is something that, if you'd asked me 5 years ago, I would have said absolutely not right now, because the demographic that we're dealing with, I don't think online courses at that time were really going to make much of an impact. But for our classroom courses, we can certainly start to move those into online modules. We wouldn't want to obviously abandon our hands-on program, but I'm seeing that shift, that it would be more, it's going to be useful for some of that, yeah. Oh, yes, thanks, Jenny. We also have some YouTube videos, and actually Rich has got a couple of them put on some slides in some presentations for later today. But we do have a YouTube channel, and it has a number of training videos there, and Rich will actually talk about some of them this afternoon, so I'll leave that to him to actually talk about some of the ones that we have newly created. But there are some YouTube videos for hands-on training type things, yeah.